Tonight, public service cuts becoming more of a reality. CTV News learns hundreds of StatCan jobs are on the chopping block. A stark warning about the risk of medical tourism as Canadians seek cosmetic surgeries beyond this country's borders. Plus, a global nod to Ottawa as Canada's capital gets named the best city to call home in the entire continent. Good evening. Things are about to get very real for this region, which employs the most federal public servants in the country. Today we learned layoffs are underway at Statistics Canada, and while it may be a slow rollout, that department alone will be slashing hundreds of positions. According to the memo obtained by CTV, 100 positions are immediately affected, and those employees will be notified this week. The plan is to cut another 750 jobs over the next 2 years and to reduce the number of executive positions by 12%. According to the memo, employees who are impacted will be told by their managers. Now, in order to achieve those targets, the government is notifying 3,200 employees that their job may be impacted in hopes that many will voluntarily leave in order to reduce the number of layoffs. The government is offering early retirement incentives and voluntary departure programs to some of its workers. The size of the department has grown in recent years. In 2019, there were 5,400 employees at Statistics Canada, and in 2025, there were more than 7,200. This is just one of several departments notifying workers of upcoming layoffs. Last summer, nearly all departments were asked to find 15% in savings in the coming years. For more on the process and other related stories, head to our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Now for a first check on weather, let's check in with Jackie Perez.
Well, parts of the region saw light flurries moving through into the midnight hour. It will be clearing. However, there is a chance that we could see a risk of freezing drizzle as we get into our early morning as temperatures start to get back to that freezing mark. So mainly cloudy skies for Tuesday. It is in the evening, though, that we could see the wintry mix moving through. So in Kingston, more so rain. Ottawa, mix of flurries. The overnight lows, though, still maintaining mild conditions, -1 overnight. Tomorrow, wind will start to pick up with potential gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour. But the good news is we're getting to a daytime high of 2 degrees.
Today we are learning of tragic news out of the Ottawa Valley. A 5-year-old is dead after an ATV crash over the weekend. Ontario Provincial Police say the child was driving the ATV on a property in Bredenelt, Lindock and Raglan Township Saturday morning when the vehicle crashed into a tree. Police say the child, who was wearing a helmet, was taken to hospital and then airlifted to a regional trauma center where they later died. Also, Ottawa police are looking to speak with witnesses after a serious head-on collision in the city's south end yesterday. It happened on Prince of Wales between Deacon Street and Amberwood Crescent just before 9 o'clock in the morning. That's when firefighters had to extricate both drivers from their vehicles. A man in his 80s was taken to hospital in critical condition. Another man and a woman were transported in stable condition. If you saw what happened or have dashcam video, police want to hear from you. In the meantime, an office building in the city's West End is set to be converted into housing. The 7-story building at 495 Richmond Road in Westboro was the former office for the Canadian Institute for Health Information. A real estate firm has submitted an application to turn the space into 143 residential units, which would be a mix of studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom apartments. This is just one of several plans to turn office buildings into Ottawa homes. Turning now to the ongoing pressure being felt at Ottawa hospitals as flu season rages on. Last week, we told you about the general campus having to use an ambulance bay to hold patients, and tonight we're learning about the Queensway Carleton Hospital's use of unconventional spaces. Here's CTV's Austin Lee.
Completely frustrating, aggravating, extremely tiring.
When Ken Saunderson and his wife went to the Queensway Carleton Hospital last week, he didn't expect to wait for so long.
We spent almost 15 hours, 14 hours and 3/4, from parking lot in to parking lot out.
Saunderson says his wife was told by her doctor she needed to go to the hospital for an IV with antibiotics to treat a skin infection. And she's far from the only person needing hospital care. In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for the Queensway Carleton Hospital says Hospital occupancy right now is at 114%, with medicine units at 133% and 27 patients in the emergency department currently waiting for an inpatient bed.
Hallways do become a patient care environment, and we've had to even go into public settings within a patient care unit. So we have like common dining room areas, which we've had to remove a significant amount of the tables and furniture within the space, and then convert that into unconventional patient care spaces.
The hospital says in the last week, during what may be the peak of flu season, waits have ballooned to an average of 13 hours.
We're certainly seeing a higher volume of patients within the walls of the hospital and need for care in the community. And with that is coming a higher demand of isolation needs within the hospital.
As my wife put it, her conclusion is that the healthcare itself should be in emergency care because it's definitely in a life and death situation.
Despite the extended wait, Saunderson says he is thankful for the people inside the hospital.
Once you get into the system, the people are fantastic. The doctors are fantastic. The nurses that are providing all the service on the floor, they're fantastic too. Super nice, super caring. It's just to try and get in it that seems to be the big problem.
As that plays out, nurses and personal support workers are protesting planned job cuts at the Royal Ottawa's long-term care facility.
Ho, ho! Healthcare cuts got to go!
Members of CUPE rallying today outside the Royal, saying planned cuts will affect both patients and staff. The union says 15 positions will be eliminated. The Royal did not confirm that, but says the staffing changes are part of routine workforce planning. CUPE says the cuts are expected to impact nurses, frontline staff, and personal support workers at the long-term care home. The Royal says patient safety is its top priority, adding it never operates below safe or appropriate staffing levels.
I just want my life back.
Coming up, putting medical tourism under the microscope, one woman's horror story about fighting for her life in a foreign country.
You're watching CTV News at 11:30 with Stefan Keys.
Here's a look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. There's quite a bit of flurries out there over the downtown core currently and other parts of our region as well, according to Environment Canada. Those flurries should end after midnight, but there is a risk of freezing drizzle overnight that you should be aware of. And Jackie is back with a closer look at the forecast.
Well, the temperatures you're feeling right now, if you are still up and about, it is going to maintain really for most of the evening and into tomorrow. -1, only getting to a daytime high about 1-2 degrees. There is a little bit of the wind gusts moving through in the early part of the morning, but it should subside. But the chance of flurries will continue into most of our Tuesday. For the lows for really all of eastern Ontario, sitting around -1, -2 degrees. Mont-Tremblant sitting around -3. Clear skies, though, as we get closer to the Quebec side. Tomorrow's daytime highs, well, yes, there is the chance of flurries moving through, and we are anticipating more of the wintry mix moving through in the evening. Temperatures, though, will hover between 1 to 2 degrees. As we take a closer look now at our weather tracker here, the conditions, well, different story. We talked about that wintry mix moving Tuesday into our Wednesday morning. So more rain, perhaps freezing rain for Ottawa for Wednesday morning, and then it will transition into late evening. Well, yeah, we're going to see more snow. So anticipate Wednesday overnight into Thursday that we could see early forecast showing between 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. So if you haven't dug yourself out of that wintry forecast from this past weekend, you might want to do so by the time we get to Wednesday, where our daytime high will be 4 degrees. Thursday, different story though. We are going to be not just cold, but much colder than what we have seen, -14 the overnight low. And then Friday we'll get back to more seasonal conditions, a little bit of sunshine too, with a daytime high of -8.
Thank you, Jackie. Medical tourism is a $100 billion industry worldwide, and more Canadians looking to reduce wait times and costs are jumping on the bandwagon. But as CTV's Pauline Chan is about to tell us, a simple desire for a cosmetic change can leave you fighting for your life in a foreign country.
She was a 52-year-old business owner and mother of 4 who also had abdominal surgery to remove a massive tumor.
My dream was to have a mummy makeover.
A tummy tuck and breast lift. But after her medical excursion to Costa Rica last fall, Nicole Grigorov is facing a very different future from what she expected for the new year.
So I have to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to use my arms. I have to learn how to do everything.
Sepsis resulted in the loss of her fingers and toes, but Nicole was just one of the thousands of Canadians who went overseas last year for medical or cosmetic surgery. The U.S.-based Medical Tourism Association says there's been a 40% jump last year in Canadians going abroad for anything from faster hip replacements to nose jobs.
It's estimated that it's 432,000. And that's, data we have from hospitals, governments in some of the destination countries.
I just went online and did a ton of research. So I interviewed some doctors in Canada. Canada wasn't out of the question.
But in the end, she chose a clinic in Costa Rica.
The main driving factor is the cost. The cost of care in those countries is considerably lower. The overhead expense, the time in an operating room, the medications cost less there.
The cost for Costa Rica, about $20,000 plus flights.
So in Canada, it would have probably been 25% more.
But Nicole doesn't recall waking up at the clinic where her surgery was done.
Nicole Grigorov spent some 3 weeks in a coma in Costa Rica. Her organs shut down, and when she finally awoke, her next challenge was trying to get back to Canada.
Close friend Rod Ponkin stepped in with $85,000 for an air ambulance, and that wasn't the only hurdle.
There's a lot of moving parts because the air ambulance, the doctor and their team had to correspond with Niagara doctors, and they had to consult.
It was a 2-week wait to secure a hospital bed, with Nicole paying for each day in the Costa Rican hospital. She arrived in Niagara just before Halloween, and a couple of weeks later, she had to have all her fingers and toes amputated.
I just want my life back. I want peace in my life.
In our next report, we hear from medical experts
and switch
about how medical tourism is a growing industry and what to be aware of. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
If going abroad for surgery is something you're thinking about, join us again tomorrow night. That's when we'll bring you part 2 to make sure you have all the information you need.
I think it's a marvelous city. I grew up here. I love it. And I have so many memories here.
Still to come, we'll tell you why Ottawa is being ranked one of the best cities to live in on the entire planet.
Get the latest live, local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Welcome back. Eastern Ontario's buzzing with the news that someone in the community is $55 million richer. A winning ticket in Friday's Lotto Max draw was sold in Prescott Russell. CTV's Dylan Dyson has more on the talk of the 8 towns that make up the United Counties.
At Rockland Marine and Equipment, owner Mario Meloche didn't win the $55 million jackpot, but he knows what he would buy if he did.
A nice motorhome, a big motorhome, so I could travel farther and more luxury. With 50 millions, I think I would travel a lot.
OLG says the winning ticket in Friday's $55 million Lotto Max jackpot was purchased somewhere in Prescott Russell, the second largest lottery win in the community's history.
The one piece of information that we don't have is who actually bought that ticket.
I wish it was me.
If I won, I don't want anybody to know.
Regardless of who won, many in the community are happy it happened to someone here.
That's a good thing because usually and hopefully that they have a family, so they'll start spreading their millions of dollars through the family, and then there's more than one millionaire, so they can spend in our area in Prescott Russell.
That's something positive for the community. They say, oh, okay, it's from here, then we'll try more.
At a nearby gas station in Rockland, manager Jay Shami hopes it was a ticket bought at his store.
The franchisee gets some, I don't know exactly how much, but they give them a lump sum.
OLG says it knows exactly where the ticket was purchased, but won't yet say.
So that's why we have to ask the people coming forward a series of questions. Again, where did you buy the ticket? When did you buy the ticket? And a number of other questions that we use in the prize claim process to ensure that we are paying the rightful ticket owner that $55 million prize.
The win follows a 2022 Lotto Max win by a grandmother in Van Cleek Hill who won $60 million. But for whoever did win, Meloche has more than a few toys the winner can splurge on.
You can get what we call a General. A General is 1,000 cc, good machine.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News, Prescott Russell.
And Ottawa tourism may be feeling like they've won the lottery with this latest ranking. According to a survey looking at affordability, public services, and lifestyle, Ottawa is among the best cities in the world and #1 in North America. Here's CTV's Sean Varden.
Valerie Elliott grew up in the capital. Now living in British Columbia, she understands why her hometown is one of the world's best.
I think it's a marvelous city. I grew up here. I love it. And I have so many memories here.
Ottawa named the best city in North America according to Numbeo's Quality of Life Index, ranking cities on what affects daily life. Coming in at number 28 out of 304 cities around the globe, holding the top spot in Canada because of high safety scores, stable, well-paying public sector jobs, affordable housing, low pollution, healthcare access, and commute times. The survey includes other factors, like the outdoors, even in winter.
I noticed a lot of people jogging in the snow, which is kind of freaky, but they like it. I guess it speaks about the quality of living.
Ottawa has a lot to offer. I love the outdoor rinks, the canal, and all that, being a figure skater. So to me, there's always something to do outside with like exercise and nature and stuff.
Green spaces, bike trails, and access to nature. Places like Kaweki Point, in any weather, set the capital apart.
It's one of the best cities in Canada, but because it's so quiet and safe, I love the area.
Just a few of the things drawing tourists from all over the world.
We want to know the city and the snow.
The parliament for us is so important to know this kind of beautiful construction and the history of Canada.
Even though the survey describes Ottawa as affordable, people using public transit may not agree.
Public transportation, $4.10 or 15. It's a bit steep, but other than that, I think it's a nice city.
For Elliot, coming home a treat.
It's really feel wonderful. It's everything that I remember it to be and much more.
Sean Varden, CTV News.
If you're excited or concerned about the possibility of high-speed rail access coming to the capital, you will get a chance to have your say. The first public engagement process with the Ottawa Board of Trade is coming soon. This country's first high-speed rail project is being developed by a company called Alto, and the first phase is starting with a proposed line connecting Ottawa and Montreal. Project leaders say early consultations will help determine station locations, community benefits, and how the rail line fits into existing cities. Business leaders argue the project could bring long-term economic gains and new job opportunities with faster connections between major urban centers.
It positions us as a modern region so that we will attract new opportunities and build up confidence in our business community and create new entrepreneurship opportunities.
If construction is to start in 4 or 5 years, we need to start preparing today because we need all the resources there are out there. So please be ready because we need your support.
According to Alto, the train would make travel from Ottawa to Montreal just under 1 hour and Ottawa to Toronto just under 2.
We're seeing more and more people that are using their credit to cover off those little necessities in life, and the problem is that's a bad cycle to be in.
Coming up on Late Night News, more on how Canadians are feeling about their chances of being prosperous in the near future.
You're watching CTV News at 5 with Stefan Keys.
A new year can bring hope and prosperity with expectations of a brighter future ahead. But a new survey finds many Canadians are feeling pessimistic and worried about what 2026 has in store. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
If you're feeling stressed about your finances, you're not alone. Many people are concerned about the rising cost of living heading into the new year.
The salary is not sufficient to cover the basic necessity now.
I'm barely paycheck to paycheck for
for years. Not a good place to be, but I think it's pretty common.
According to the MNP Canadian Consumer Debt Survey, 71% expect the cost of living to worsen, 59% believe the overall economy will worsen, and 51% believe Canada's relationship with the U.S. will also get worse.
There's a lot of negativity and pessimism out there.
Whether it's paying your rent or mortgage, shopping for a new car, or buying groceries, the year ahead brings with it mounting financial challenges. For many, it's not one part of the economy, it's all of it.
Whether it's interest and inflation, housing, job market, overall economy, the cost of goods.
The Credit Counseling Society says one area of growing concern is consumers using credit cards to buy groceries and pay their monthly bills.
We're seeing more and more people that are using their credit to cover off those little necessities in life. And the problem is that's a bad cycle to be in. At some point, you run out of credit, you don't have cash. What do you do?
The survey also found 59% believe housing affordability will deteriorate, and 62% are concerned about rising poverty and inequality. Younger Canadians are feeling the most financial pressure.
Many of them have just left school. They have this large student loan debt. They've accumulated credit card debt. They're looking at the cost of housing as they start their financial journey into adulthood, and they do feel stuck.
Anyone having trouble paying their bills and getting further into debt is advised to get help. Credit counseling with a debt professional is free, confidential, and can let you know your options before your situation gets worse. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Back center to the hard shot, and a good stop made there by Reimer. That's a great play by Ritter.
Turning to sports news now, NHLer James Reimer will now be stopping goals for the Sens. The team has signed him to a one-year contract with a salary of $850,000. This comes amid Linus Ullmark's leave of absence. The 37-year-old has played 525 regular season games with the league and last played for the Buffalo Sabres.
Looks, passes, Verhaeghe, wrist shot, scores!
The Sens are hoping the move will help solidify their goaltending as they try to break free from a 4-game losing streak. The Sens are back on home ice tomorrow, hosting the Vancouver Canucks at 7 p.m.
Great turnover has Jenner. They've got numbers. Jenner shoots and scores!
And the Ottawa Charge are now finding more luck on the ice. They've now won 6 straight after yesterday's game. And they too have a game tomorrow night at 7, but it will be in Montreal to take on the Victoire.
That was a serious case. We got sparkles.
And before we take a break, that's Prime Minister Mark Carney trying his hand at skate sharpening. The Prime Minister posted this short video to social media yesterday. He thanks local skate sharpening shop Be Sharp in Nepean for letting him take a turn behind the machine and said the smell of sharpening skates took him right back to his childhood days at the rink. Carney is now packing his bags for China, where he'll engage in some highly anticipated trade talks. When we return, more on another highly anticipated trip, but this one is out of this world. Stay with us.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Here's a final look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. Snow covered out there. A chance of freezing drizzle overnight, so be on the lookout during tomorrow's morning's commute. Now with the final check on the weather, here's Jackie.
Well, wake-up weather's feeling more like -1. Risk of freezing drizzle. We are getting to a daytime high, though, of about 2 degrees. This is the good news. Mainly cloudy skies for most of our Tuesday. The chance of flurries and wintry mix moving through Tuesday into our Wednesday. So you want to bring out the umbrella for Wednesday in the morning because it is going to be a wet one. As temperatures drop, because we are starting off or getting to a daytime high of 4 degrees. As temperatures drop, we are anticipating more snow on the way. Stefan.
Thanks, Jackie. Finally for us tonight, a Canadian astronaut who calls this province home, now has a better idea of when he might be going on a journey of a lifetime. Jeremy Hansen, originally from London, Ontario, is one of 4 astronauts who will make the first crewed mission of the Artemis program and the first journey to the moon by astronauts since 1972. Hansen and his colleagues will travel around the moon before returning to Earth over a 10-day stretch. Today, NASA released possible liftoff dates for the Artemis 2 mission. Several launch windows, about 2 hours in length, have been identified, beginning February 6th until the end of April. What a mission that will be indeed. That is CTV News for this Monday, January 12th. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app, and for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe.